Hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving. I got to have my holiday off because you were here working. Of course, you got to have a little Thanksgiving of your own on Saturday. How'd it go for the Ovenden family?
It was good. It was good. Was it good for you too?
Yeah, it was a great Thanksgiving. You know, you end up passed out on the couch with plenty of turkey. That's kind of like the American dream.
You got to meet your girlfriend's family for the first time. Was that a good thing?
Yes, they still approve of me dating her, so
good.
It's a good Thanksgiving. We hope you guys enjoyed yours too.
He's pretty happy. Look at him. All right, let's talk sports.
Yes, let's talk some sports. Thankfully, that's why this is the KDLT Sports Video blog, not the Love blog. We had a good sports week in South Dakota, and highlighted by a fantastic...
The Love blog. Sorry. Just kind of hit me funny, yeah. Let's talk about South Dakota State.
The Jackrabbits, you know, this was the kind of game I think we both maybe... We'll give him a minute.
Keep going. I'm just thinking of the Love Boat music. I'm plugging in blog instead of boat. This is the little song I'm hearing in my head.
I'm kind of picturing that too now.
Right.
So thanks for getting that earworm in my head too.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, South Dakota State, 47-40. It was not boat conditions. It was more like going up to the Arctic for this one. They go to Montana State. This was kind of what we expected. We didn't think Montana State could really stop SDSU. And SDSU did just enough defensively to limit them. And you get a 47-40 win. Zach Zenner is Zach Zenner. 5 touchdowns, over 350 total yards. Austin Sumner played well. Of the 3 playoff wins they've had, I'm going to say that's the best. I think easily toughest opponent.
Yeah,
and condition-wise, yeah.
Yeah, but the conditions, I think the conditions helped South Dakota State. You look at, they played in snow a couple of times during the year. They've played in less than ideal footing conditions, although, you know, yeah, it was snow, but they were playing on turf. Zach Zenner's pretty good when the footing is bad because he knows where he's going, and the defenders don't. Seriously, he always has good games when it's bad weather out. So
he always has good games in the playoffs too. Pretty much.
He always has good games, period. Yeah. But he has phenomenal games under these kind of conditions. When you look at his runs for touchdowns, good heavens, he had 5 touchdowns, and I think 3 of them are really long plays.
Yeah, 69, a couple 69-yarders, a 45-yarder on the second play of the game. You know, it's funny too because Montana State players after the game were complaining about the footing. And it's obviously it's on their field, so that's maybe a little mute, but they play on a turf field. SDSU's played their last 2 weeks in snow on a grass field, and Coughlin's just frozen right now. And the Jackrabbit players say, are you kidding? This is the best stuff we've had in 3 weeks. So
it's all a matter of perspective, I guess. And
maybe an advantage to being the only Dakota team that still plays outdoors when you have to go to these games.
Well, this Saturday they're going to be indoors at the Fargo Dome against the mighty Bison, and it's a chance for redemption. You know, they lost back at about a month ago, and
37-17.
But it was closer than that.
They led at halftime of that game. They gave away a couple of turnovers late as they're trying to get something going desperately. So that was not indicative of the final score. Second time in 3 years they played in the playoffs. 2 years ago they got beat pretty badly, 28-3. They've wanted. I mean, they have not beaten the Bison since 2009. If this program's going to climb that hump, I've heard them talking about it all week. They want to beat. They're respected now. They're a perennial top 25 team. They got to get over this North Dakota State hump eventually if they're going to take a rise to the next level, which of course they want to be a contender for the title.
Yeah, and you know, they've got some terrific seniors on this team that don't want their season to end. We heard that from almost said Joe Sumner, that's his dad.
I'm sure he doesn't want it to end too.
Austin wants to keep playing. Zach wants to keep playing. There's a bunch of talented guys on that team that want their season to continue. And what better place? I mean, really, you got to play North Dakota State eventually anyway. And they're playing really well right now. They're still healthy for the most part. Let's just say they played a lesser opponent this week and had to play them the next week, and 2 of their players got hurt this coming Saturday. Well, they're healthy, so that's not going to be an issue. And I think the chances are as good as they've ever been for South Dakota State to go into Fargo and win. I'm not saying they're going to win, but I'm saying the chances are really good that they could win. And there isn't anybody on that North Dakota State team that I would trade for Zach Zenner in particular. And Austin Sumner's just, he's made a big difference down the stretch. And Winicky has given him, and Winicky wasn't even the difference in the game on Saturday. It was Zach. But you get back into good conditions on the turf where your cutting is something you're able to do. And Winicky runs great routes. He's got phenomenal hands. Caught 15 touchdown passes as a freshman.
And let's also give some credit to Schneider, too. He is playing really hurt right now, but he had a good game. They had other guys, too. Trevor Wesley steps up and has big kick returns, a couple big catches. The receiver, I can't remember who caught the touchdown. His name escapes me. He caught his first career touchdown.
Great catch in the back of the end zone,
I mean, they're starting to get, it's the big guys are obviously producing, but they're starting to see the other guys step up a little bit. The one thing that I look for as to how SDSU wins this game, Zenner has struggled against the Bison basically his entire career. I think he's never topped 100 yards against him, and he's actually about 150 away from becoming the all-time FCS leading rusher.
Yeah.
When I've seen them play the Bison, the difference in the second half this year and the difference last year, different teams granted, physically NDSU's line seemed to beat them up more than anybody else in this conference. I like their chances too, but I just don't know if they can, how much can change in a month when their lines were so dominant against them in that second half last month.
Keep in mind, though, Northern Iowa dominated North Dakota State since that game.
And
that tells me they are beatable.
And this is a rookie. You got a quarterback who's making his first start in the playoffs. He got some garbage time snaps when they were winning big games. Coach who's coaching his first game as the head coach in the playoffs. I think it'll be a better game than any we've seen in the last couple of years between these two teams. It starts at 2:30 in the Fargo Dome on ESPN3. We'll have plenty of highlights, hopefully some reaction out of Fargo. The winner plays either Coastal Carolina or Richmond.
Yep.
I think we know what matchup Mark would like to see in a week, and
of course I would love to see that.
And let's hope we're talking about that. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I'd love to see Richmond beat either team.
Oh,
that's my alma mater, for crying out loud.
I was gonna say, I know it's tough to root against your alma mater, but you've been out here.
I'm spider-born and spider-bred, and when I die, I'll be spider-dead.
So we've got the Love Boat and the Spider song today.
I would have very mixed feelings if they were playing South Dakota State. I'd be happy for whoever won. Let's put it that way.
I was gonna say that's because you've been here now for 3 decades. I imagine that's gonna be a pretty tough game to test both your loyalties, but. Either way, let's hope we can be talking about that.
Let's move on to the
Moving on to the next one. The Sioux Falls Cougars have had a lot of time off since their playoff snub, and they will get back into their final action, final game of the year. Mineral Water Bowl against Central Oklahoma. That's Excelsior Springs on Saturday at noon. We said this 2 weeks ago. We talked to the team on Monday. Really kind of feel bad for Central Oklahoma because I think this is a USF team that's going to go down pretty focused and ready to go.
Well, yes, but Central Oklahoma's a pretty good team, so it's not like they're going to go down there and blow them out like Pittsburgh State did to SMSU last year, 90-28. They know they have to play a really good football game to win on Saturday, so can they do that? Absolutely. Are they motivated to do that? I think they are because they realize that if they go and win big or win impressively, that doesn't necessarily mean win big because Central Oklahoma's got a good team, but if they play a really good game on Saturday, that's going to make the NCAA realize that maybe they made a mistake, or it's certainly going to open enough eyes to where in the future they'll have a little bit of a reputation when it comes time to picking the teams that get into the playoffs. Oh yeah, that USF team went down and drilled Central Oklahoma, finished 11-1, so there's a lot for them to play for. And you don't think the seniors on this USF team don't want to go out with a win? Absolutely. So they want to make a statement. They want to win one more time. And, all this preparation time for 3 weeks, they don't want to, not win the game and not try hard. I think they're as over as you can be not getting into the playoffs. They're never going to get over it. They're not. They're always going to be disappointed and wonder what if. But you have to put that behind you. Life is what you make of what is thrown at you, and I think they'll make the best of it.
Not to dwell on that anymore, but maybe for a quick second. Harding gave up 59 points. The team that got it over
42.
Did score 42. And oh, by the way, the region championship this week between Mankato and Duluth. So the NSIC will have its 2 teams in the region title game and potentially a chance for USF to impress at the bowl game. So for a league that ultimately was not deemed strong enough to get 3 teams in, could be a pretty big week and hopefully good week for the NSIC. Again, that game is at noon in Excelsior Springs. We're going to try and get you some highlights out of that one. We'll see what we can get off the internet. Plenty of other big events happening, though, as well. SMSU going for a national title at the Elite Eight in Louisville. Louisville actually is the center of the Division II world this week. The cross-country event is also there where the Augustana teams are.
Well, it's the sports festival.
Every
4 years they do that, and they have all the sports from that season in one place, and that's when Augustana played in the softball tournament that they lost, and the golf team both went to the sports festival in Louisville a couple of years ago, and so this is great because you got Augie's men and women, you got USF's cross-country teams there. Augie's men, I think they've got a great chance at possibly coming home with a medal.
Won the region title.
Yeah, they won the region title, and SMSU's volleyball team plays their first match on Thursday at 2:30. If they win Thursday, they play Friday, I believe at 3 o'clock, and then Saturday at 4 o'clock for the championship. And keep in mind, the NSIC has won almost for as long as I can
winning
remember.
7 in a row.
Concordia won 7 in a row. They're the dominant conference by far in the country in Division II volleyball, by far. There's no arguing that. This isn't football. Nobody can go, well, the MIA. No, the NSIC is so good. It's a great. It's like SMSU won a national championship to win the region, because they beat the 4, the 3, and the 2 ranked teams in the country just to win their region, and did it on Duluth's court.
Yeah.
So they go in sky high, and
I don't think they'll be overconfident, though.
No.
They've been waiting
Not
so
at all.
long to get to this point, and this team has been kind of so humble. And again, this was not the team that was expected to get to this point.
No, they've had some unbelievable teams in the past, but just getting out of the region again has been impossible. So they're excited to be there, and hopefully it all works out for them.
Well, they get Sonoma State in the first round, the Elite Eight round on Thursday, and then hopefully they can go through the entire weekend. Also, another big honor came out late on Saturday night for the Lincoln cross-country team.
Well, let's not forget Northwestern's volleyball team.
Oh, that's true.
Also begins play on Tuesday down in Sioux City at the NEIA National Tournament. Pool play first. Red Raiders are always a great team to watch. I love watching them play volleyball year after year after year. They've got a potential national championship team. So we'll see how they do and have some.
And they've got a bit of a home
too.
court advantage too, obviously being in Sioux City.
Well, they get more fans there cheering for them, that's for sure. Yeah, Tyson Event Center is a great place for the tournament. That's where the basketball tournament is too, and so we'll keep you up to date as to what's happening. But they play their first pool play match on Tuesday at 5:45. Now on to the Lincoln boys cross country team.
Yes, the Lincoln boys cross country team, who of course finished 3rd at regionals just a few weeks ago, just missed out on the automatic bid, but they get an at-large bid to the Nike Nationals, which are also on Saturday out in Portland, Oregon.
I think they knew that was going to happen, but then again, we saw what happened to USF.
Yeah, you never know until you see your name on the bracket.
You don't, and they just missed getting second place in the region by 6 points.
Will Lauer was second.
Will Lauer was second, and I believe all but 2 of their guys ran personal bests. So they ran incredibly well at the Nike regional race 3 weeks ago, and are hoping that they can do the same again. I just think it's terrific that they get to go. Yankton's the only other team that's ever gone for the boys in South Dakota. Yankton and Roosevelt's girls have gone on a couple of different occasions. In fact, Ramsey Cavan won it individually, and so did Betsy Bees from Yankton. So we've been represented there in the past, but this is the first time that a Sioux Falls boys team has gone, only the second time a South Dakota boys team's gone, and this was a dominant team. They won the state AA title by a ridiculous amount. I mean, it was It was a landslide.
Yeah, and they were good in a lot of. I remember they went to Ames and they won an event down there with a lot
Nebraska,
of people.
They won one down there, and yeah, they opened a lot of eyes. Were ranked, I believe, as high as 19th in the country at one point during the year, and stayed consistently right around that. So Eric Pooley's done a nice job. You got a star like Will Lauer, who's going to Stanford, by the way. He's not only a great runner, but he's pretty.
He's got a good brain there if
too.
you can go to Stanford.
Yeah. He was on Calling All Sports Monday, so if you missed that and want to hear it, check
out the archives.
Go to our website, callingallsportsSD.com, and go to the archive, and you can listen to any show we've ever done, actually, in the last 5 years. But Will was on Monday, and he's thrilled because he loves, and we talked about that on Calling All Sports. He loves the team, the camaraderie, and the team aspect of it. He says they're really close. They hang out all the time when they're not doing cross country, and that makes a big difference when you're out there pulling for each other.
I think they all would have wanted to go with him, even if they hadn't gotten the bid. They probably all would have wanted to go with him to Portland.
But they wouldn't.
Probably wouldn't have been able to, right? But that'll do it for this edition of Blog. One quick shout out, because the winter sports season is starting to get going for the Preps. Wrestling season actually begins technically on Tuesday, but we've got some tournaments throughout the week.
Well, basketball season's
already started. And basketball in Iowa and Minnesota is already getting underway, and we're still about 2 weeks, week and a half away from South Dakota getting going, but the seasons are changing. Seasons are coming to an end for a couple teams, hopefully not for South Dakota State. Let's hope we're talking about them again this time next week. For Mark Ovenden, I'm Zach Borg. Have a great week, and we will talk to you again later.
Love boat.